This is Stars and Scopes with your pal Uma Ruby. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, do listen to your rising sign first if you know it, but do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're loving this work and you've got some coins to spare, throw them in the tin over at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby and you can buy me a coffee. Okay, let's drop into it. Hello Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. Welcome to your horoscope for the new moon happening in Gemini on the 30th of May. New moons are beautiful times to use the energetic fields that are playing out on the planet without the influence of the sun's rays and call in what we might like to achieve, what we might like to change or shift and bring into our lives. A new moon in Gemini encourages us to be communicative and chatty about our needs and wants and desires and hopes and dreams. It really, if you can think about the Geminis in your life and the way that they're always on the text, always on the phone, always in the DMs, wanting to work it out with words and intellect, then this is the kind of energetic space that we can use to cultivate what we want to happen in the future. This new moon, depending on what house Gemini relates, is always like a fresh start, a beautiful fresh beginning. So for you, Sagittarius, Gemini is in your 7th house of intimate relationships, of your lovers, of close business associates, but like, you know, your nearest and dearest, your soulmates, your besties, all of that sort of stuff. Think about the way that all of your nearest and dearest, the ones that you let in, are like your sisters, like whatever that word means to you. I use it in many different ways. It's one of my favorite words and one of my favorite ways that I like to be referred to. If someone calls me their sister, I'm into it. I really like it. But that's you, Sag. That's how you sort of operate in intimate bonds. Now, I'll talk very quickly about some of maybe the more difficult aspects that are happening in the sky that might be affecting this moment, this lunation, but we'll get them over and done with super quick so we can talk about the really positive, generative stuff, because we're all getting used to relaxing a bit after the eclipse season just gone. Last month was hectic and we've got a little bit of a reprieve. So let's focus in on what we can control and what we do have access to in our autonomy. So first off the bat, Mars and Jupiter are in a really close conjunction. And as we know, Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Jupiter is the encourager, for want of a better term. It's the auntie that's sort of like, oh, good on you, girl. You're doing really well. Oh, no, I love that. Let's do more of that. Jupiter just expands everything it touches. And for Jupiter to be expanding Mars, who is our passion driver, who is the one that gets the shit done, who charges ahead and moves through, who blazes the trail, we'll put it that way. And Mars is happy as Larry in Aries. They couldn't be happier, and particularly at the degree that they're at the moment. So Mars is at 4 degrees Aries. The tarot card that relates to that degree is the 2 of Wands. So it's the action plan. It's the real direct sort of moment of drive and precision and passion. Now, Aries rules your 5th house, Sagittarius, which might make me, without overstepping any boundary, but might make me think that potentially you're very driven and exuberant in your creative zone and also your pleasure zone. So this can go many different ways, but if we're thinking art and creation and that sort of thing, of like that moment when you get struck by an idea, that inspiration spark, that could be one thing that's being lit up and encouraged for you right now. Another thing could be how you make love. I don't know if you're feeling particularly on fire right now in terms of like your desire for connection in that way. I don't know if you're feeling really confident, beautiful, into it. Who knows? But go with it. So really go with that energy because it's going to help you out in your intimate relationships. And I'll tell you why. So The new moon's happening at 9 degrees of Gemini. The tarot card for that particular degree in the zodiac is the Eight of Swords. Now, this is a slightly different energy. The Eight of Swords talks about a mental cage. It talks about too many thoughts all at once that kind of restrict us and kind of have us feeling a little bit at their mercy. The idea of ruminating and kind of getting overwhelmed with what is the truth? How can I work through this? I'm being told all these different things, or I'm thinking all these different things, and I can't pick apart what's actually the reality and what I want my reality to be. So that can sometimes be a difficult energy, but particularly in your 7th house of relationships. So I'm not so sure if there's somebody in your intimate zone that you're conflicted by. I'm not sure if there's like friction in the intimacy, or there's you feel your hands are tied and you've got no access to them, something like that. There's sort of, you're not connecting in the way that you normally would. But remember that all of this really positive, passionate, sexy, vibrant red energy is in your 5th house right now. So your creativity, your sexuality, you know, that beautiful, beautiful, juicy, heart-led pleasure stuff, that's all being activated. So let's potentially use some of that in order to get through some of this mental cage that might be happening in the 7th for you in these relationships. So one last thing to mention is that Saturn, the planet of restriction and boundaries, is in a difficult square at the moment with Mercury, our messenger, that is at 26 in Taurus. So squares can be conflicting, competing energies. Particularly, poor old Mercury is currently retrograde. So I bring this up just because there might be in your want to transpose and transmute some of these messages that are, you know, holding you back, or that, you know, things that you want to bring up in relationship. There might be some turbulence there, or some miscommunication. So just be mindful of how you bring these sorts of things forward. So that's the current sky. So I hope you're feeling confident that this is the time to manifest what you want in relationship. If you're by yourself and if you're single, then like, this is the perfect time, Sag, to call in that next intimate lover, to call in that next companion, to fantasize and imagine who it is that you'd like to be with. You know, how do you relate? How do you work and connect soul to soul? So that's the sky. I also pulled you a separate tarot spread, just a little one with a separate deck, to get some more intuitive messages and see if we can sort of tie in what Spirit's saying with these cards to the more formal zodiac placements. So on the back of the deck, I got the Queen of Swords for you. That's a beautiful direct truth. The Queen of Swords, she'll tell you exactly what she needs to tell you. She's going to balance it with water. She's going to balance it with her emotional literacy, but she won't let you get away with anything. And she's going to not edit any bit of the truth, but she's going to do it with stridence and with integrity. She's not in any way brash or rude or clunky. The Queen of Swords holds the truth. She's the keeper of this wisdom, you know, and she's going to be really direct and let you know what she's thinking. So we're going to use that energy as the base note of this perfume of a reading. Relate that stance to what we've talked about the potential miscommunications or short-circuitings that might be happening with transferring messages, and with your 7th house. Remember, Gemini rules your 7th house, so you're always best in relationship when you're communicating clearly. I got for you the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. I got the 6 of Pentacles, and then I got the 4 of Wands. So this is a really lovely way to cap this off. Things may have been tricky, or there may have been a sense of something being slow to grow in this part of your life, but that's over now. We're going to move through that impatience. There's going to be a beautiful giving and receiving that's going to happen. I imagine that when you start letting some of these truths surface, you'll be met with the same. You'll be met with a great line of communication, a great co-creation of needs and boundaries being talked about, And that's perfect for intimate relationships. That really is, which is why we have the Four of Wands, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, beautiful, stable foundation, a great celebration, and the right path for you. So in terms of if you're thinking about someone in particular, if there's someone in your mind right now, this is a message that you're on the right path, that this is stable and that this is a really great place for you to be. If you're not thinking about anyone in particular, if you're going to be manifesting and calling in who it is that you want, know that the way that you can do that is through emotional literacy, through honesty and the truth, through mental clarity. Know who you are and know what your needs are and know what your boundaries are too. To the next relationship, the next turnaround, the romance wheel. Okay, I'm going to leave this one here, Sag. I think it's really nice and fresh. Feels quite a good place to start relaxing from the hectic eclipses and to really hope for the future. So if you'd like to throw some coins in the pot, do head over to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby, and there's a direct link there that you can pop some wishes in the well. Other than that, I'm going to be back with you in 2 weeks for a very exciting moment for Sagittarianos. There's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius, which is your first house. So that's going to be a fantastic time of release and letting go. So we can look forward to that. Much love and many new moon blessings for the 30th. Ta-da!